One of the things that kind of troubles me is that when they set up the bond program, they said we're going to pay off all the bond with unincorporated Pima County HERF revenues. And we're building, I don't know how much, $50, $100 million worth of city projects that we're paying for with the Pima County revenues. If we didn't have to pay for those city projects, we could have an awful lot of money to build more county projects or repair the roadway. Is there any opportunity to adjust the bond program requiring cities to use their own HERF money instead of using the county's money?
Nicole Fife, I'm assistant to the county administrator. I've worked with the bond advisory committee for many years. So in order to do that, the memorandums that went to your committee, I believe, described what the process would entail. We have formal IGAs with the city of Tucson for those projects. So we would have to amend the IGAs. They would have to be willing to give up that funding source. And those projects are pretty far along. And to lose that funding, I don't think that they would be super supportive of that. But that's something we can certainly pursue. But
are the IGAs signed for all these projects, 22nd Street, Broadway? Have they all been signed?
Houghton and Broadway for sure.
Yes, Houghton and Broadway for sure have recent ones. The one for 22nd is a much older one, but it's still in place.
Okay. That's an awful lot of money that, that's drawing from the Pima County HERF revenues that we could be using for our own projects and roadway repair.
So if I could add to that, just to provide a little context, is that at the time in '97 that the county had huge capacity issues, and they had to be resolved mostly in the Northwest, and there was no other financing mechanism that was available to the county except to get the community to buy in to a HERF bond program. I think there was an attempt to do a general bond. There were attempts to finance it in different ways. So granted, today, in retrospect, when we have this deficit in pavement maintenance, it may seem that it was inappropriate to make that decision. But facing the decision back in the late 90s, there was a real need to expand capacity, and this was the only mechanism available to the county at the time. So I think that's important to understand.
I think, Madam Chair, I think also you wouldn't have passed the bond issue if you didn't have the local jurisdictions voters, especially the city of Tucson, which represents 40%. Maybe that's where that 40% number comes from. In favor of it. Yeah, they wouldn't be in favor of it if they weren't getting any of the benefit.
Well, they're getting all the benefits, but they're not paying a nickel. Right? They're not paying a nickel for their roadway projects.
Right.
Yeah.
There's probably $100 million worth of city projects that we're paying for out of unincorporated Pima County's funds that if they had just deleted that one phrase in the bond ordinance and just said it'll be retired, the bonds will be retired by everyone's HERF revenues, the Pima County would have a lot more money today to spend. Of course, the city people are going to vote for it. They're getting $100 million worth of free roads at Pima County's expense.
Yeah, perhaps future bond issues shouldn't have that in it.
I hope so. I'll certainly bring that up next time.